Welcome to A Paycheck Away, where we are talking with the candidate for a House district here in Virginia. Jonas Eppert is joining us from South Chesterfield, Virginia.
Yep, Chester. Yep.
That's Chester. Okay, take out the field because they're tearing it down and they're building a lot more affordable housing. I hope so. Jonas is running in an election that's about 48, 49 days away. Who's counting? Everybody's counting. Everybody's counting. The
Yep.
whole country is had its eyes on Virginia, and that's why we featured Jonas in a blog about a week or so ago, where the title was "All Eyes on Virginia." Virginia is if not the bellwether state, and I, as a former New Yorker, love throwing shade at New Jersey. So, yes, sorry, you are not the bellwether state. Nobody's looking at you, New Jersey. Nobody wants to be there. Everybody's looking to Virginia, and this is an opportunity to flip the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general seats, approximately 18, maybe House of Delegate seats, and hopefully what Jonas is running for. So, welcome, Jonas. Thanks for taking time out of your campaign to chat with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is a great opportunity.
And well,
So thanks.
let's see how great we can make it. And so you're running as a first time candidate in an area that has been held by Republicans. What's the vibe? How's it looking? Why are you running?
Yeah. Well, why I'm running is I'm running as a progressive. I'm 27 years old. I'm a product of Bernie Sanders' run back in 2016 when I was in high school at the time. And so I've been pretty much active ever since. I lived down in Florida and had to get the hell out of there back in during the pandemic. And it's good to be in Virginia. It's good to be in the Commonwealth. Yeah, for this district in particular, to your point on affordable housing and just affordability in general, um, you know, basically on the doors, that's what we're hearing the most about is I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And right now with inflation, going to the grocery store has basically become a nightmare. And I don't know if I can afford to put my kids into daycare to even have a job, because that's another mortgage payment, basically. And so right now it's about, maximizing affordability. It's about trying to insulate the state from, the craziness that is the Trump administration.
We're all noticing the increased grocery prices, and in our house, our pantry for the first time is a lot more bare than uh, and it's like it's one of those you kind of like you're hungry for a snack, you open it, there's nothing, you kind of close it, you open it again, just hoping like, okay, maybe I've lowered my standards enough.
Yeah.
I can this thing that's been in there for a while. I'll just eat that. But that's where we are. It's across the board. So I really want people to know that you are not alone in this.
Yeah.
This is something that every single person in the country is experiencing. You are not alone. I was just reading a story. I don't know if you're in Chester, but we in Henrico, we have the Henrico Citizen, which is a local newspaper or a digital newspaper. And today's feature story was about the Henrico County Food Bank, which
Hmm.
seeing record number of people. I think it was like 30,000 families or something like that. Or no, 30,000 families are food insecure, but they're seeing a record number of families coming this year at a time when donations are low because people don't know if they can donate. People cannot donate. People are getting laid off and they're waiting.
Yeah.
So whatever you're experiencing, I want everybody to know everybody else is experiencing, and this ain't right. This ain't normal. Jonas, when you're in the House of Delegates, what are you going to do?
Yeah. When I'm in the House of Delegates, hopefully after this November, hey, I'm sorry, the dogs are going
No,
crazy.
don't. You never apologize for dogs. Don't apologize for dogs. That's
but um, but yeah,
Christy. No,
when I'm in,
did that.
yeah, no worries, no worries. When I'm in the House of Delegates, the main goal, and I've been asked about this plenty of times, is about insulating our already incredibly high quality programs from the Trump administration. So that is doing whatever we can to alleviate the you know, we know they're coming down the pipeline, the cuts to the Department of Education. You know, we need to shore up our ability to make sure that those of us like myself who are neurodivergent, I have dyslexia, I'm ADHD, you know, without federal resources, I don't know if I would have made it to college. And so at this point, you know, making sure that we, you know, shore up those programs here on the state level to assist you know, students with like IEP plans, individual education plans. That would be my top priority. You know, from day one.
Now, thanks for being, vulnerable with sharing your what you're going through with ADHD and dyslexia. That's hard, and I feel like there are so many people out there who are undiagnosed, and there just aren't enough doctors, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
Doctors. And on top of it, what did Congress do? Not invest into giving us more doctors, but actually cut what limited funding is already going into the healthcare
Yeah.
industry. You know very well that, so many hundreds of thousands of Virginians who are receiving Medicaid are now at risk of losing it next year. Tell us, walk us through what's going on. What's the vibe?
Yeah, you know, this is continuing that you know, the same sort of you know, messaging, which is we need to tackle affordability, and healthcare is a part of that. I myself am, you know, a big proponent of a Medicare for all system at the federal level. I think at the state level, we need at a bare minimum a single payer program that you know, the state is funding and is running to deal with the you know, what's coming down the pipe. Uh, when we're talking about rural areas in particular, um, while my district does not have a rural hospital, I know that plenty of my, you know, fellow candidates are dealing with having to tell their residents, having to tell their community that, hey, this, you know, hospital that you rely upon for, you know, life saving, you know, services is not going to be available. I can't remember the exact statistic, but I know that like majority of the rural hospitals, if not entirely, all of them that have maternity wards are basically they're going to be gone after the cuts.
Yeah, one of the so I'm running for Congress here in the first district, and we have a hospital known as the Rappahannock Hospital in Lancaster County,
Mhm.
and they've already had their maternity ward cut,
Yeah.
the labor and delivery unit rather was cut many years ago actually, and then a few years after that they cut the ICU, and then they also rolled back on no longer doing surgeries after 3 p.m. Now I was talking with a lobbyist within the hospital industry, and she said the hospital should be okay. They should be able to secure some funding to be all right, but it was on the short list of being at risk of closing down. Unfortunately, there are 3 health centers in Virginia that just closed down in the past week based on these funding cuts. Now, I believe Rob Whitman, who is our first district representative, he sent out he did this short video in front of a gas
Uh,
station, so it kinda gave him, like, this vibe of trying to sell a used car,
yep.
but
Sounds about right.
a used car with water damage, like, nothing against used car salesmen, it's a great job, but one of those that is definitely selling lemons, and the
Yep.
big lemon he's trying to sell is the Big Beautiful Bill, and it's the Big Beautiful Bill is the lemon of our time because now they've given it a whole new paint job.
Hmm.
But calling it the Working Families Tax Cut Act doesn't change the fact that inside is still damaged to heck.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how there's a provision in there that injects about 55 or 50 billion dollars into rural health care. What he doesn't talk about now, Jonas, I don't know if you know this. What he doesn't talk about is that there's a $155 billion cut in the Big Beautiful Bill from rural healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's
I,
like, yeah.
I can't believe it. And honestly, I'm so glad that, you know, you're running to be the nominee for this congressional district because we need someone like you that understands the, you know, complexity of what is coming. You know, Rob Whitman, he's part of the problem, and you know, like he's not just a bench warmer. Like my opponent, Mike Cherry, I think of him as more of a bench warmer. He's just a do nothing Republican. When it comes to Rob Whitman, he is making real, material harm to individuals here in the state.
Yeah, and it's not just about you can't sell problem without Rob.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll unveil that next year. But yeah, going back to the district, you mentioned the opponent is a do nothing Republican, also known as a DNR.
Yeah.
What what are you hearing from people when you're meeting with them, you're knocking on the door? Have you well
Well,
actually
I think
answer this way. Have you knocked on Republicans' doors?
absolutely. So right now, we're about to move out of persuasion, and so during persuasion, we were knocking on those who maybe lean Republican, trying not to knock on strong Republican per se, but we still got some strong Republicans. In fact, last weekend while knocking on doors, I talked with a straight up MAGA Republican who was very, happy to admit that he voted for Trump, that he usually votes, R all the way down the ballot. And, but I had a really nice conversation with them. I didn't talk on any of the federal policies so much, but talking about local issues like your affordability issues when it comes to like just grocery store prices, when it talking about the need for high quality education, these sorts of things that anyone can basically relate to. Uh, those are policies that are winnable, even when it comes to someone who is quote unquote a MAGA Republican. Um,
My
you know,
whole theory here is that we're living in a post-party apocalypse.
yes, yeah,
And apocalypse doesn't mean like a doomsday. It's actually like a great awakening or a great.
mhm,
That's the Greek root. What apocalypse means. And
yeah,
so it's not a left versus right thing. For so long, that's how it's been couched. But it's really the working class versus the billionaires.
yep,
And this isn't just a national issue, and that's not just a federal issue, but it's playing out on the state, on the Commonwealth here in Virginia, the Commonwealth level, where literally our Commonwealth is being taken by
yeah,
greedy billionaires. And so
um,
when you're knocking on a Republican's door, you're not knocking on an opponent's door. You're not knocking on the enemy's door. We're all in this together.
yeah,
All working class. We all have increased grocery store prices. Next year, our health insurance is going to skyrocket like 20, 30%. Our energy bills, everybody's energy bills are going up.
to your point on energy bills, if I can jump in real quick, that
No,
was
I'm on a roll. I'm going to keep going. No, go ahead.
that was one of the big issues that kind of united us was the fact that he's seen an incredible rate increase on his cost of living just from energy alone. And this is a Republican individual who lives out in a rural area. He has quite a large house, quite a large bit of land, and he is very concerned with the data centers that are driving up our cost of energy right now. And
Do you have data centers in your area?
and yeah, we just got a few approved actually. Yeah, yeah. And just like up in Nova and now across the Commonwealth at this point, like we are Virginia is the number one state for data
Yes.
centers.
They're
Yeah,
everywhere. They are
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
God. Yeah, it's like the Matrix.
It really is. And what's crazy too is the like Dominion Energy, these for profit utility services, they are in bed with the data centers. They are building fossil fuel plants specifically to cater to the need for energy to the grid from these data centers. And um they're the ones benefiting from driving up the price is Dominion Energy, and other groups like them. So,
You're not taking any money from Dominion, right?
no, absolutely not.
So this,
Absolutely not.
dear viewers, this is where you come in. Mark has pasted Jonas's website. This is the halftime ask. Donate 5, 10, 15, 20, something, anything to Jonas's campaign. One of the beauties about running local races It's a lot more affordable. And so any amount you give will be helpful to get a few more mailers out to people to let them know, hey, here's how to vote. Here's when early voting starts, which is this Friday. You still have time to register to vote until October something.
No, you can do same day registry.
You can do same
Yeah.
day. So, like,
Yeah.
this is stuff that people need to know. And with your dollars, it will happen. He's not taking money from Dominion. And let me tell you, I tweeted this like at midnight last night. Uh, somebody was reporting on how the numbers came out for how much Miares and other people got and funds raised, and there was this like X amount that they got from Dominion, and I tweeted I was like, oh, maybe this is why our Dominion energy prices are increasing because the politicians are getting more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're getting more expensive, and just the capacity to the grid is being dominated by you know, these data centers. And, you know, like data centers alone wouldn't be all that bad if we had better, stricter regulations when it came to their development.
Hmm.
Like right now, like I work for local government. I work for a local county, Powhatan County, and as their environmental coordinator. So, like I see these, we're about to get in a data center into the county, and they did like the
Wait,
board of supervisors.
wait, you're getting a data center in Powhatan?
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
in Powhatan County.
Powhatan is like beautiful.
It is. It's very beautiful. I love the county so much because of like they do a very good job at making sure that they maintain like that rural feel to the community.
Where are they at?
Um
This bad boy.
which honestly I'm glad that they're putting it where they are. If they were going to put a data center in the county, it's right on the county line with Chesterfield. So I'm like, well, you know, at least it's not in the interior of it. But
Not near the state park.
yeah, not near the state park. But jumping off of that is they did not do enough with that data center when it came in for a conditional approval to make sure that it had to have a certain percentage of like batteries on site to store energy during off hours. They didn't have where you can put solar panels or require solar panels on the roofs of these massive centers. They're not producing any energy on site. So something as as a representative, as a House of Delegate member, that I would like to see is putting additional regs on these data centers that go in, not to just stifle the ability to have a data center built, but to put in regulations that will make them more clean. So, say 25 to 50% of the energy for the data center has to be produced on site or stored on site during off hours. Or, making sure that they aren't taking up water out of the ground, having a closed system. Like we have the technology to do this. We just don't have the proper regulations to make sure that we're holding these companies accountable.
Yeah, it seems like as of late, the General Assembly here in Virginia has been very friendly to data.
Yeah.
We're talking about hundreds of them are popping up throughout the Commonwealth. But as we've talked about as well, as everybody across Virginia is seeing, our energy bills are increasing because of the energy that the data centers are using. And that doesn't make any sense. So have you thought about some sort of legislation, or is there anything if you've talked about with other colleagues, like what could be done so that data centers are paying for the energy that they're using?
Yeah, yeah. So again, this is very much a local issue as well. Like you can have uh we can get into the weeds of making sure that these localities are forced or they have it built in where certain impact credits are brought into the community by these developers. So whenever you get a data center come into a county, they have to put up like X amount of dollars or whatever percentage is worked out towards road improvements or towards the county schools. You name it. Here in the state of Virginia, proffers is usually the name it goes by. Those are a bit different than your standard impact credits because a lot of times proffers are have to be voluntary. So it's kind of like it's a quid pro quo, actually. It's a legal quid pro quo where, you have counties, they'll, uh, uh, a developer will come into a county and say, hey, we want to do this project. What's our likelihood of getting this approved? County officials will say, oh, well, it's not likely if you don't, proffer something to help with the environment, not, to help with our schools, this, that and the other thing. And so these developers will then proffer in to their approval, giving a certain amount of money towards these items, but it's all technically voluntary, which is it's very it's very scummy if you
I'm over here. One of
think
my
about it.
priorities is campaign finance reform. This is a whole.
Yeah,
We need a
yeah,
proper reform of some sort.
yeah.
Wild. But
It
yeah,
is wild.
to our viewers, this is a great opportunity to type in some questions that you have for Jonas, who is running for a House of Delegate seat in Virginia. The elections are November of this year, and all eyes are on Virginia. We have governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, 100 House of Delegates up for the taking. And so it's, it almost seems like every single week the margins get smaller or narrower. But the fundraising shows an overwhelming support for the Democrats. So what are your thoughts? What's your vibe?
Yeah, so I do want to push back on the fundraising aspect. I think that the top of the ticket when it comes to Abigail, it definitely is showing that she's outraising. There's no doubt about that. When it shows, Ghazala Hashmi, she's outraising. Jay Jones, which is he's running for attorney general. That is that's the one to be concerned about right now. That one, Jason Miyares has a real chance of winning. Uh, the Republicans know that. Even some Democrats, will admit that. And that's why the Republicans are throwing as much money and resources into holding the attorney general position in the
So
state.
how does that work? You typically would think that a Democrat's going in, they're going to vote for Spanberg or Hashmi. Wouldn't they vote for Jay?
So I know this is anecdotal, but a lot of my colleagues, they have told me specifically that they like Jason. That like for whatever reason they like Jason, whether it's optics, I don't understand it myself, but he has great name recognition, and a lot of people seemingly find him, semi endearing. And right now, when it comes to Jay Jones, he's facing an uphill battle from the name recognition standpoint, as well as I'm sure you've possibly seen the negative ads that have been run against him are calling him weak on crime, saying that he isn't able to. He's never run actually argued anything in the courtroom. And so the idea is, well, can he actually stand up to the current, federal administration?
Attorney general doesn't show up in court.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's just picking and choosing
Yeah.
what, and so like, but the layman's the average individual, average voter probably won't know that, and that's why these negative campaign ads I think are fairly effective. And what I worry about is so much money is being consolidated into just throwing more and more money towards Abigail, and not enough is being spread amongst the top of the ticket. Like Jay Jones is literally on my Instagram feed begging for $5. Like, it shouldn't be the case that he's begging for $5 right now. Um,
That's why, I created something called Salam's List, which was debuted in,
yeah,
blog about, All Eyes on Virginia, and I have, the top of the ticket, including Jay in there, as well as a few other candidates, but because it's like, at that time, we weren't sure what the amounts were raised, maybe it's open for modification. Maybe I can now remove the governor and lieutenant governor, focus more on making sure everybody gets a little bit more, because
yeah,
these races seem to be doing okay. So, we can make that change, no problem.
yeah,
Because yeah, I just read this article about how important it is to have Democratic attorney generals.
yeah. It's
Sorry,
very important.
Democratic attorneys general.
Hmm.
Plurals on attorney, not
Yeah, I know. I always get that one mixed up.
so Democratic attorney general, because that is really that front line of defense against what Trump is doing. Like it's the lawyers,
Hmm.
blockers, and we'll see all the fanfare in the media when Trump tries something. But and that'll be front page news, but it'll be like the 16th page when there's a victory from the attorneys general, like a few months later, because it's kind of like, it's died away. And that's one of the things that Shakespeare wrote in one of his plays, something to the effect that if you want to create chaos, you kill all the lawyers. So that
Hmm.
is absolutely critical. We need to get a Democratic Attorney General here in Virginia. So if you are a Virginian and you're considering Miares, don't. You got to vote for Jay Jones, because we don't need somebody just rubber stamping everything that Trump is doing. That is the fascism that is creeping and speedily at the same time all across the country. We cannot have that happen in Virginia. Virginia is the first stop, the wall. It's right next to DC. I like to say, for all the Lord of the Rings fans, that DC has become Mordor and Virginia is Minas Tirith. And we are the front line of defense. If Minas Tirith falls, we're all screwed. So that's why all the forces, all the money is coming into Virginia. All the people from everywhere are coming to Virginia to stop
Yeah.
that expansion of the orcs of Trump.
I mean, you're totally right. And the we also have to consider the fact, yeah, it's the front lines for, the Trump administration within DC, but as as a southerner, as someone who grew up down in Florida, I can tell you for a fact that, like, Floridians are flocking here in droves to get abortion access.
Wow.
Um, like, Planned Parenthood had a statistic out that basically broke down, who is coming to the state of Virginia, and it's in using their facilities. And aside from those who are Virginians, it was Floridians. That was the second highest number. And so, Virginia has a very important space, being the last blue state in the South. And we are on the front lines, not only when it comes to DC, but we're on the front lines when it comes to, making sure that the South doesn't, turn, blood red.
Wow, that's very integral to ensuring that November goes well. And Florida has probably some of the most strictest laws on abortion.
It
We
does now. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw one of their Republican electeds down there who needed an abortion, and just good
Yeah.
God, the only moral abortion is mine.
Yep. Yep. It's the same idea of, I love the socialism for thee, or socialism for me, not for thee. The idea that, they will get their PPP loans forgiven, and, the rest of us will still have our student loan debt.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my student loan is just a part of me now. It's like a tumor. Never
Yeah.
go away. But yeah, so we are here with Jonas Eppert from Chester, Virginia, who's running for delegate. If you are here from his district or from Virginia, and you want to ask anybody want to ask a question, feel free.
Yeah.
And also, there's Mark. If you can plug that link again for Jonas, for y'all to give him a donation, $5, $10, anything helps. It's all about power in numbers when it comes to people who aren't taking donations from corporations like Jonas. We all put in a little bit and it all becomes a lot. Don't ever think that $5 is nothing because there's 100 other people, 1,000 other people doing the same thing. And that really makes an impact, make a great difference. It's like the starfish thing, right? But 500 people just picking up a starfish and throwing it in the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a firm believer of that small dollar donor. To go back to my roots, where I got my start in politics was Bernie Sanders' first run in 2016, well, 2015 and 2016. And like when we got, I think it was right, $27, the average, right? Like
Something like that.
23, 27, something like that.
I
Oh
think
my God, that was such a hit.
he was the one that popularized that, like,
Yep.
or he may have
Yep.
been first, but I mean, I'm sure others did it, but he really popularized that and really helped me understand, wow, that's if we all do it together, we really
Yeah.
make a difference. So that was really cool. I remember learning about Bernie. I'm a Redditor. And so
Mhm.
he was rising up in Reddit long before the national zeitgeist picked him up. So I was a Bernie bro, and I'd be telling all my friends like, "Yo, you guys gotta follow Bernie. This guy's legit. He's the real deal." And everybody was like, "You're a wacko. You're crazy. Like one of those loony bins." And then like as he came up in ranks, people were like, "Yo, man, this guy is onto something." So it's really cool that Bernie was able to just talk to people about, hey, not a left or right thing because he's coming in as an independent. He's like, "Guys,
Yeah.
basic human. The rest of the world has it, and we don't." So whether it's you wanna call it catching up or economic dynamism or something, this is an opportunity for us, and every single election, from local to federal matters, so we can really build out that infrastructure for a positive change, not a left change or a right change, but a positive change. Like, who cares what 1% of the population is doing? You know what I mean? What's that phrase, Joe? You know the phrase, "It either picks my pocket, punches my."
Uh, I'm not entirely sure.
It's like the mantra of, like, should you worry about something? Well, if it's not picking you,
Oh,
punching you in the chin, then
yeah.
forget
Yeah.
it, right? So,
Yeah.
right, like, who's picking our pockets? The billionaires. Who's
I
punching in the face? These healthcare organizations. Like, we gotta do something about that.
I wish I could remember the quote, like, word for word, but someone had said a while back, and I need to figure out the exact quote now. But the like, if someone is telling you that the person causing your problem is someone less fortunate than you or less like has less wealth than you, then you're being propagandized towards. Like you are falling for propaganda. And so when it comes to like immigration, you know, immigrants aren't stealing your jobs. Immigrants aren't the ones causing your wages to be stifled. It's the billionaire class. It's those who have the means of production. Like these are the individuals that are the ones that you need to be directing your frustration towards and your anger towards, because ultimately they're the ones with the means to make something change materially in your lives. It's not the immigrant, it's not the trans person, it's the billionaires.
Yep, absolutely. So keep that in mind as we march into November 25 and November 26. Jonas, as we wrap up here, and again, last call for anybody who, if you have a question burning, go ahead and ask. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Why? I mean, I just love the dude.
Right?
I also it's so quotable when it comes to like the issues that like we're facing all the time. I always say like it's all about the money. It's like, where's the money, Lebowski? Like you follow the money and you'll find out like how things are, and so, yeah, and it's also just a fun movie to watch. It's so quotable. So,
Nice. That's awesome. Says Jonas's campaign is Donnie.
yeah.
Who's Donnie?
Go watch the movie.
Right. I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it, but maybe I was just in a
Yeah.
funky state then. Oh yeah, I was in New Jersey.
It's a cult classic. It I think what it is for me too is both myself and my now fiance, like we like both of our dads would play it growing up. Like it would either be on the TV or like we would just hear it going. Um it's just one of those movies that is nostalgic for me. Um and yeah, yeah.
For me, it's I think my audience knows Lord of the Rings is my go-to. And my kids are 3 and 6. They're too young to watch the movies. So what I do is, like, on every road trip, I'll just have the soundtracks playing. So it just kinda, like, permeates into their minds, and they associate good vibes with the soundtrack so that,
Yeah.
5, 10 years from now, when we finally watch the movies, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god," like, there's gonna be a flood of good feelings coming in whenever the like, comes out, right? So it's gonna be a psychological experiment.
I love it. I love it. I think that for me, nostalgia has basically kept me going on a lot of different things. Hey pups, calm
Oh,
down.
yo, bring 'em in.
Yeah, come in. Come here. Come here. Come here. Let's see if I can catch one. Oh, signal.
Hello.
Yeah. Hang
Yep,
on.
sorry. Oh,
Here we go.
look at that. Who is this?
This Maple.
Hey, Maple.
Hi.
Do do you have 2?
Yeah, I got two. Hang on. I'll flip it around. Yeah, there's Ivy
Oh my
and
god.
Maple.
Are these huskies?
These are Huskies,
Oh
and they're
my
absolutely wild.
oh, man, that's awesome. Speaking of wild, here's my child.
Hey!
So, yeah, that's Jonas Eppert. He's running for office, and, he's got a good shot. He's got a decent shot, I would say, because a lot of people are very upset. A lot of people are very upset with what Republicans have done and how Republicans, especially in the Commonwealth of Virginia, are not speaking up and out against what Trump and the congressional Republicans are doing on how they're protecting, how they're protecting pedophiles by not releasing pedophilia files,
Yeah.
by adding $4 trillion to the debt, and creating more government as
Party of fiscal responsibility.
yeah, and family values, and
Yeah.
also small government by creating tens of thousands
Yeah.
of new military ICE personnel. Uh,
Gestapo. Yeah.
So it's definitely something that a lot of Republican voters are concerned about. They just may not voice it, and I'm glad you're talking with the lean R's and maybe helping them come over as well. And the big thing is the bluer you make your district, the easier it's going to be to flip the first congressional district next
Yeah.
year. So it's all working together. It's one big circle of life. Nothing exists in isolation. So for
Yeah.
every dollar viewers, every dollar you give to Jonas is going to help us next year. So this is a continuing thing, and yeah. So Jonas, any last thoughts?
No, thank you for having me. Would love to do this again sometime. Win or lose in November, we're trying to make a statement with this run and I'm 27 years old. I'm not backing down anytime soon. I've I'm cut from that same cloth of Bernie Sanders, which is just try, try, try again. And we'll make it.
You keep moving the needle.
Yep,
Keep moving the
that's
needle.
right.
All right, brother. Well done. Good luck, and we'll be there out canvassing soon with you.
Yeah, awesome. See ya.
Take care, everybody.